Hello everyone, my name is Griff, and today we are going to be going over this month in Dragalia Lost for May 2021. Now, before we get into this, and before my page seemingly loads, here we are, I do want to talk about two things. It is the first of the month, so the shop count and packs have refreshed, so if you're interested in things like trading for certain materials in the void battles, or certain packs, they are back in the shop, the monthly ones are. And additionally, the event that's going on currently is called a player support event. So on Twitter, they put this as Grimir and Vania giving these to all players, but it says for 5 days starting on the 1st, we're giving all players the following gifts each day as thanks for your passion and support. We hope that they will come in handy as you continue your adventures in Dragalia Lost. You have 20 ashes, or 20 Ethon ashes, 5 exquisite honey, and 2 summon vouchers, which will end up being 100 ashes. It will end up being 25 honey, and it will end up being 10 summon vouchers. So not too bad at all. They're pretty much just free, so I don't see a problem with it. And if I hit update, it should send me back. For whatever reason, this is super laggy right now. But that's fine, because we only need to go into one more. We have this month in Dragalia Lost. So let's see what's... I've already read through this a little bit, but I do want to talk on a few points. So, hello everyone, Yukata here, Director of Dragalia Lost. First off, as always, thank you for playing Dragalia Lost. I'm again excited to bring you the latest news on what's happening in and around the game this month. So the Rage of Chthonia's raid event is here. The adventurers Vania and Grimir and the Dragon Rose Queen appear in the Rage of Chthonian event going on now. To celebrate the Rage of Chthonian event, we'll be adding a unique voucher, the Spring 2021 Dream Summon Voucher, the gold emblem reward that are available from this event. This voucher allows you to summon one adventurer or dragon of your choice that appeared in the game in between its release and May of 2020, excluding those who appeared in Dragalia or for a limited time only. Note that we do not plan on making this voucher attainable after the event is over, so be sure to grab what you can. So I mentioned in another video how I thought that they were going to bring up the voucher, kind of how they always... I personally referenced the start of this month in Dragalia Lost as last week in Dragalia Lost, because the first segment's always what happened, not what's going to happen. And essentially they're saying that they're not going to make this voucher apparable after the event is over. But they don't say that they won't make any voucher like it. And especially, it makes sense that they would say this because it's the Spring 2021 voucher. So if they did one, for example, at the anniversary, that would be the Fall 2021 voucher. Or if they did one in summer, that'd be the Summer 2021 voucher. But I think the main thing to take away is that they don't say this is replacing raid characters. They just say this is what we're doing for this event. So I think we are still in a game that's going to have exclusive raid welfare characters, have characters that, are special to the event that are free, that people can unbind to 50 MC for free from the event, which honestly, I prefer this balance a little bit. I prefer having a free adventure that is tied to the story of the event because it makes it feel more complete in my opinion, but I honestly don't mind having these summon vouchers, throughout the year. Maybe 3 or 4 a year, at one for each major season of the year, and then everyone's allowed to get a free adventure on a very cool event like this one. So all in all, I'm pretty excited that they're doing this, and I'm pretty excited that they don't straight up say, hey, this is the new norm, this is what we're doing from now on. And I think that this is a pretty decent event to do it, because a lot of people would want to summon for both Vania and Grimir, just in who they are as characters and the fact that they're kind of crossover characters. So in doing that, they allow people to kind of, summon for them, which is a bit of a monetary thing, but also allow other people to get a free adventure. For example, I know I'm going for Valina. A lot of people commented saying that they were going for adventures that they were missing. And thank you for all the feedback on the 2 most recent videos. They've been doing extremely well, and thank you guys for watching. But it's cool to see that they're talking about this, and I do want to see what happens in the future and see maybe in a couple months when we get the Summer Alex event, or when we get, the anniversary event, see if this dream voucher returns. But moving forward, fans of the Japanese voice lines may be interested to know that the theme's event song, Sample Answer, was sung by none other than Grimir's voice actor, Megumin Otako. So pretty cool that they have the voice actor singing the song. I believe they've done this a few times with a few different songs in the game, like they did it with Karina and Lapis in that event, and I believe they also did with the Marvelous Tornado in Catherine and Eugene's event, so it's pretty cool. Moving forward, Vania and Gala Reborn Agni will appear in the Gala Dragalia that begins on the 28th. You may notice something special about the appearance of the projectiles fired by Vania's normal attacks. I hope that new and existing fans alike enjoy her debut in Dragalia Lost. So, before she was out, I said that I thought she was going to work like Mine, where Mine essentially turns her auto attacks into butterflies when she's a bow unit. What Vania does is that she does this, but it didn't say it anywhere that she was going to do this. So when she does attack, they have the same exact damage and projectile speed as, I'm pretty sure, as a normal wand, except they look like little bats. So she does attack actually by throwing bats at people, which is how she works in both Rage of Bahamut and Grand Blue Fantasy. So it's pretty cool to see that. I know her more from Shadowverse, but because I play Shadowverse more than the other 2 games mentioned, but she is in this game with a bit of twain to her character, a little bit of uniqueness to her in what she's able to do by having those bats there. So that's pretty cool. Then we're going to go into plans for this month, finally out of last week in Dragalia Lost into this month in Dragalia Lost. The Adventurer Grimir and the Dragon Rose Queen will appear in a prize showcase starting on the 3rd. For further details like stats and skills, please see the corresponding in-game notification. Pretty cool that it's a prize showcase. I think this is the first time we've had 2 adventures, two new things focused on Drive Showcase. Because we had Ilya, then we had Pecorine, then we recently had, who was on that banner? I'm completely blanking who was on the most recent one. I know I summoned for him, but they were also on a prize showcase. And it's cool to see that they're kind of focusing on the prize showcases more. And there will be free summons for this event, and I'm assuming this banner will last 10 days, so you will actually get 10 free summons on this banner, which is pretty cool. So it's cool that they're actually giving a pity rate up. If it is a prize showcase, I might go in for Grimir. I really like Grimir. So expect to see a preview of this, not tomorrow when we normally would get this from me, but see it on the 3rd, because I do want to wait a day. Kind of people were commenting that some of the things that when reviewing comes out, we don't have much information. So I think I'm going to wait a day this time, make it with more concrete information, give a better answer should you summon, especially since you have free summons and you really shouldn't be going in day 1 because you will actually get a pity rate up naturally. So if you can wait, it's pretty good. In May, Camus' Trial, Chthonius' Trial, and Mars' Trial will be added to Trials of the Mighty, where you can earn materials for unlocking the mana spirals of Nurse Eileen, Gala Alex, and Yukata Cassandra, respectively, from the daily bonus. Unlike the trials last month, you can earn materials for both Gala and non-Gala adventures this month. This is probably the most decisive part of the this month in Dragalia Lost. And I want to point out that I mentioned this was going to happen in a sense last month, because I was saying that essentially it takes 3 weeks for you going through all your daily bonuses, assuming you spend exactly the amount of, you play the quest on the day it comes out, you don't hoard 3 for the next one, for example. Like you didn't skip 2 on Uden, so you have 3 on LSN day 1. But it takes 3 runs through of a Trial of the Mighty to get a character to 70 MC. So, for example, we've had Eden twice. So if we had Eden a 3rd time, we would be able to fully 70 MC him. The problem is that for the next month, we're having 3 new adventures. So not only does that mean these 3 adventures are going to be on week 1, but Ronzo and Elisan from last month are going to be on week 1 as well, which means that it's going to take even longer to get those adventures to fully MC'd. So I don't like this system that much. I really wish that they, we're like, okay, we're going to do these 3 in this time, and then these 3, and then these 3, and not segment them like this, because it's really just going to give small power boosts across the board. As far as for the adventures chosen as well, this is super strange to me. That one, they would do Nurse Eileen, who I guess is a call out to the fact that a lot of people in Lilith have trouble with the amount of heals that they needed, so they wanted to buff a water healer, I guess. 2, the fact that they would do Gala Alex over Gala Cleo, who Gala Alex is probably in a better state currently than Gala Cleo, because Gala Cleo doesn't work that great in Nihility fights due to her buff zone not working, but Gala Alex is essentially the exact same because she just goes off of poison and debuffing. So that's a bit odd that they would choose to buff her instead of Cleo. And 3, Yukata Cassandra, who came out, I believe, less than a year ago. And additionally to that, she is a She's an over damage unit. So if I had to guess what they would do, I would guess that they would buff Yukata Cassandra to be on the same level as the Lily, or Dragon Lily, who is another over damage unit, who basically gives a strength buff and a regen buff. I'm not complaining about it because I'm going to use her shared skill, so hopefully I'll be able to get it. But I believe it will take me at least 3 weeks to get to that shared skill, or at least 2 to get to that shared skill. So it's not exactly a big victory for me personally, but it is something that I think that it's cool to see that they're incorporating new 70 MCs like this. But I wish that they wouldn't. I wish that they would just drop some 70 MCs and be like, hey, these are your 70 MCs. If you want to get them, you can get them. Or you can use the convictions to get them on your own. Because it's basically limiting the amount of progression that we have in the game. And it's kind of like holding out like a piece of candy in front of you and saying like, hey, you could have this, but you can't because you're going to have to wait a couple months until we decide you can get it. You know, who knows when we'll have 70 MC Bronzel? Like, who knows? Now, the thing is, the other part of this is that these units don't really need a Mana Sparrow, or at least I don't think Gala Alex needs a Mana Sparrow. The other two aren't really used that much, so we might see, you know, Yukata Cassandra over Halloween Lowen, or we might see Nurse Eileen over Zhuangzi. You know, it's kind of those things that are like, eh. So you know, it's going to be months until we actually see them replacing their counterparts, and that sort of grind and that sort of slow build is actually a sort of turnoff for me because it's like, I just want it now. So I don't understand the model of withholding it, but I do think that it's good that they're putting more 70 MCs in the game, which is what I really wanted. So I'm glad, and in total, I'm glad. But it will be interesting to see what they do with these 3 units. As far as the fight themselves go, pretty basic, pretty normal. I didn't expect anything different from this. These are just bosses that we fought on our own in the story, and they're just putting them in as trials, essentially what they've already done. So pretty cool. A defensive event that features the adventurer Saga, whom you may remember from his brief introduction in the most recent episode of the Dragalia Digest, will start on the 10th. He will be joined by an existing adventurer in a new heavily armored outfit. I hope you're looking forward to learning about Saga and his past when this event becomes available. Now, if I remember correctly, this is a Hinamonen style event, and additionally, they mentioned that we're going to have a existing adventure in new heavily armored. Now, when I first read this, my thought was Berserker, obviously, because he wears a set of armor. There's also the 3-star, which I'm not remembering his name, but he's also all about armor. But I don't think it's going to be either of them, because I think that's too on the nose, and usually when they tease things like this, it's completely left field. There are a few data mines of characters that could show up here, but I don't think they really fit in with the event type, but maybe they do, you know? It's really up to them. So, maybe at some point I'll talk about the data mines, but I don't really think it's important to talk about them. But it's interesting to see that this starts on the 10th, and seemingly this banner would last longer than the 10th due to the free summons we're getting up until the 13th, so maybe we'll get some free summons on this banner here. Who knows? You know, it's whatever. It's also possible that these adventures will just be on a mid-month Gala remix, and that'll be that. So, it's kind of interesting to see. He looks cool. He looks like a wind mana caster, if I'm being honest, because he does have a lot of green around him and he does have this gun on him. So it'll be interesting to see another one. I'm hoping that they will give a mana caster in the story, because if you haven't summoned for any mana casters exclusively, the only one you have is Joe, and Joe's not great. So it'd be cool to see, you know, if there's things like Stormlash in this game, or in this unit, where he can use the new prints when Wind unlocks their weapon bonuses and new slots on the weapons that they have, or, you know, things like maybe he'll have some sort of DPS shred, since he is holding, it looks like a machine gun. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of character he'll be. I hope that they do mix it up though, and I hope that he is different from Joaquin and what he's able to do. Next, we have the Agents of the Gaudi facility event will be rerun on the 17th. Be sure to construct the facility that boosts HP and strength of adventure who wields axes and staffs. Kind of strange that they're rerunning this event just randomly. I do think though that they're trying to focus just fully on the apostles, and I'm surprised that we haven't gotten any word of a new apostle event so far. So it's kind of suspect to see what will happen at the end of this month, because as we go through this month, yeah, we'll just see what happens at the end of this post and what I think about it. So next there is the Fire Emblem Lost Heroes and Fire Emblem Kindred Ties will be added to the event compendium on the 17th as well. The event will be played in solo. They don't mention any sort of banner going along with this, but we know that there is a banner going along with this, which will probably happen on the same day as this going live. So it'll kind of be this is added and these are added, and there's a banner with Fae units. Now, I already have all the Fae units, and it's going to be interesting to see which ones they put on focus, because only Vanessa and only Peon is here with them. So it will be interesting to see who, you know, is available and who is part of this banner. Hopefully it will be all of them, but who knows. A time check where you're pitted against water-attuned enemies will be held in late May. Part 2 of Chapter 19 is on the way. Legend difficulty for Ana Toivav will be added in late May. So all these are just kind of things that we happen every month at this point. You get a time attack, you get a legend, you get a, you know, new story chapter. All these are pretty basic. Most interestingly, they didn't announce any adventure being added in Chapter 19 in Part 2. So maybe we won't get one until 20. 20, I think, will be a tipping point in the same way that 10 was a tipping point. So we won't see that until at least next month. So it will be interesting to see what they add going forward. And as far as Legend Twins go, I'm not too overly excited because I feel like this is going to be highly based on double buff. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that, and the kind of things that they do to punish Karina comps, or, you know, double buff comps in general. I'm not too excited for it personally, but, you know, it is new weapons, it is new strength that comes from these, and it is good to see them, because as you get more legends, it just makes the Sinister Dominion fights easier to grind. So not too much of a big deal there. And then we have future updates. The suggested team feature was added in the most recent major update, although it can only be used to see the top performing adventures in solo teams at the moment. We're planning on spending its function to co-op in the future. Pretty good, should be there. In the next update, we plan to reduce the number of daily bonuses for Dragon Trial and the Imperial Onslaught to 1, but increase the amount of awards you get from each. It's interesting, because at the start of the game, they only had 1. Or they only had like 2 or 3, and they added more, and now they're taking away more. So, it's kind of see that they're kind of back progressing over time. But it is cool to see that they're adding it easier to grind. As they mentioned, that they also reduced the stamina for these, so they hope that it's easier to basically clear these every day. So yeah, you should be clearing these every day. If you're not, I most of the times don't, because I'm lazy, but you should be clearing these every day because there are free resources and there are things to unbind your weapon dojos or your dragonlets. So it's pretty good to see. Add a new feature to Knott's Notes called Medals. These medals will be awarded to individual adventurers each time they clear quests like Advanced Dragon Trials, the Agito Uprising, and Rise of the Sinister Dominion. Although these medals do not provide any stat boosts, we hope that players will enjoy seeing another tangible measure of their roster's development. Maybe you'd like to challenge yourself and earn a certain amount of medals on a specific adventure, or even with all your adventures. The choice is yours. This is pretty cool, and it would be cool if this showed up in pubs. If you were in a pub, right, and you are in a room, and for example, you're playing Cayenne, and this Grace shows up that has like a platinum medal next to the name that's like, I cleared, Master Cayenne 100 times with Grace. It's kind of cool to be like, okay, that's a pretty good player, I can trust them to do pretty well in this pub. And that kind of thing is a displayable measure that it's, I like it because it's not going to change anything to the game in terms of how you play it, but it is going to be a measurable reward that it would display. So I hope these do display more than to just you. In the next update, we plan to add the previously announced feature that allows you to automatically unlock up to a specific mana node or even all 5 mana nodes in an adventure's mana circle at once and view and upgrade all your facilities on a single screen. So pretty cool. They're just saying that these things are coming. So 2 things will be added in the next update. From how the game is going, or actually 3 things I'll be adding in the next update rather. I don't know if there'll be more in the update than these. Hopefully there will be. And then in conclusion, thank you for reading this month's update. We're giving all the players 2 Champion Testament and 3 Sunlight's Ores. The next installment will be on the 1st of June. So, all in all, I think it's interesting here that they didn't mention a end of month raid event at all. They mention that they're being added on the 17th, they're adding at this event, but usually how the game works at this point is that we have a new mid-month event and a new end-of-month raid or facility event. But there is no mention of any of that. And if I had to guess what it will be, I will guess that it will be an Apostle event, because the next, we kind of got a month before the new Sinister Dominion came out, we got the Peon event, where she's with Gabrielle, and Gabrielle shows up and they do their whole thing. So if I had to guess, the next Archangel will be part of this end of month event, and that will lead to that Archangel being the new Sinister Dominion in June, because they kind of said they're going back and forth. So they have to introduce them by the end of June, basically, or by the time the fight would come out. So which either means mid-month June or the start of June. So I do think that the next facility event or the next raid event that's not mentioned here will be one of those two things. I don't know if it will be Ferris or if it will be, any of the other apostles. I have no idea who it will be, but it will be cool to see those units returning in a story and seeing what the next step is in the grander story of Dragalia. But that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.